Now listen, I gotta tell you, I know a lot of people are like Mr. Beast stans, but I always knew something was up with this guy. I always knew it. That smile, he smiles with his mouth, you know? Let's see, just Google image, Mr. Beast, smile. There's always this inconsistency. You know what I mean? His eyes never smile. Something's off there. He's always trying to smile without actually smiling. How do you do that? What are the physics of that? If you just cover up, let me pull up a Photoshop because we're going to need this later. Okay, or even if I just do a snip, right? Like if I were to just snip this, okay? Now, you probably would tell me if you're a kindergartner, okay, this guy's smiling. But what if I blocked out? What if I blocked out the mouth and all you saw were the eyes? I don't know. Could be anything. Could be fear. Could be I'm going to murder you. I don't know. It's crazy. There's something really off. And yet, Mr. Beast, gone are the days, I tell you, when I was growing up. The music was so much better. When I was growing up, our YouTube idols were so much better. The undisputed king of YouTube was this man. Our gamer king, a man who smiles with his whole face. Or when he doesn't smile, he doesn't smile. When he doesn't feel like smiling, might not always smile. Maybe it's just a regular ass expression. But he was a real ass dude. He was real. He wasn't a synthetic creation of the system, man. And listen, I've held my tongue because I know that because I love Elon, okay? And I love Linda Yak. Let's get wise in chat for Linda Yak attack. And I know they made a big play for Mr. Beast. You guys remember this? To get Mr. Beast, the most popular video creator and content creator on planet Earth. How many YouTube subs does he have? Mr. Beast YouTube channel. I hesitate to search for Mr. Beast on YouTube. I'm sure this is going to completely destroy my YouTube search recommendations for the rest of time. 453 million subscribers. 453 million. Latest, 7 days ago, world's fastest man versus robot, 61 million views. 3 weeks ago, 100 people versus world's biggest trap, 79 million views. Those are YouTube views. Listen, he is the undisputed corny king. I don't think I've ever watched a full Mr. Beast. I tried. And I got to tell you, I was very inspired. There was like a leaked Mr. Beast employee memo. Which is genuinely actually really good. Here's the full document, I guess. How to succeed in Mr. Beast production. I'll drop this here for folks who are interested. Okay. And this document is actually very good. I remember reading it front to back a couple of years ago and thinking, maybe like a year and a half ago or something, and thinking, holy shit, this dude is focused. You can see why he's got his production so dialed in. But for today's purposes, whatever you think of MrBeast, he's gone to the dark side. So I'm gonna read from the Zero Hedge article. The theme of this segment on MrBeast is that you are living in a USAID Truman show. Do you guys remember I kind of popularized that term, USAID Truman show? Most of the world lives in a USAID Truman show, a USAID Truman show. Welcome to the USAID Truman show, the USAID Truman show, the USAID Truman show. I talked about this on Joe Rogan too. Well, without getting too distracted, let's. The USAID Truman show was my way of trying to describe to people how every aspect of their life is shaped by what you probably thought until now was like a boring, bureaucratic, foreign assistance humanitarian fund for other countries, not your own. And the purpose of the Truman Show reference, Truman Show, scene, for those who don't know. Let's see.
Day in paradise, folks, but don't forget to buckle up out there in Radio Land. Remember, good driver, good, and a safe driver. He's a good driver, good driver, good. Wait for the cue, background, wait for the cue. Stand by one. Countdown to action. Stand by, one. He's heading west on Stewart. Stand by all extras. Gloria, he'll be on you in about 90 seconds. Pops, make sure the coffee's hot. Okay, he's making his turn on the Lancaster Square.
Make sure the coffee's hot. So the barista that he's been going to for years, and the coffee shop he's been going to for years. The coffee. That's interesting. I wonder if USAID impacts the coffee business. The freezing of USAID is an abject disaster for the global coffee sector. God, really? Why would shutting off USAID hurt your ability to get your local cup of coffee? Well, as it turns out, USAID is essential for controlling all of the highly contested geographic territories like the Green Belt in Africa. The Green Diamond, coffee and conflict in the Central African Republic, by the U.S. Institute of Peace, the CIA conduit, the intermediary between the CIA and the State Department. It turns out that coffee is grown where cocaine is grown. There's a very significant interplay between the coffee business and the cocaine business. The coca leaf and the coca bean. In Colombia, where coffee is grown, there's never any military conflict there. And you can imagine, as for example, Starbucks is one of the biggest public-private partners of USAID. Tens of millions of dollars of co-investments in various activities that USAID do. USAID and Starbucks partner on Colombia coffee. And as this article, just on the coffee, we're just at moment one of the Truman Show. Yet the most damaging blow, maybe from the Trump administration to the coffee sector, more than the tariffs, more than the trade wars, is the dismantling of USAID. Contributed tens of millions of dollars to the global coffee sector. USAID $1.5 million to J&P Coffee, $5 million to a coffee breeding university. USAID Sustainable Agribusiness in Honduras. USAID gave $8.2 million for a coffee resilience fund in Indonesia. USAID gave $8 million for the coffee development in Peru. USAID with Keurig in 2023 launched a 3-year joint initiative. Undisclosed project costs. That's not a good sign. 5-year USAID partnership to promote specialty coffee in Peru. A $16 million USAID initiative to boost coffee in Burundi. A 5-year USAID program for the coffee sector in the Democratic Republic of Congo. USAID funding for the Ethiopia Cup of Excellence competition. USAID gave $10 million to combat leaf rust in USAID. USAID does vital CIA covert action black ops in 19 coffee producing countries. So your little cup of coffee is brought to you by your Burisma and by USAID.
Ouch. Sorry about that, folks. I guess we picked up a police frequency or something. It sometimes happens, and it can drive you crazy. Okay, it's classical Clive back in here, and we've still got some great music up ahead. But hey, don't forget to buckle up. Remember safety. Good drive.
The radio station that he listens to every day. The YouTube videos he watches every day.
Is a safe driver. Safe driver is what? Yes.
So what I'm getting at here is USAID is the portal into understanding how all of the different institutions all around you, your culture and entertainment, your college universities. For example, I really want to get to this Harvard Epstein article today, but I don't think we're going to have time, where USAID has given hundreds of millions of dollars to Harvard University alone. Your universities, your legal profession at the American Bar Association, tens of millions of dollars in USAID money, as we've talked about many times. If you're a member of a union, USAID helps effectively through its CIA connections, runs the unions. And that's going to be part of our story we're going to get to today in the El Salvador situation. Whatever profession you're in, whatever you like to do for fun, whatever food you like to eat, Cargill and USAID, Cargill, the world's largest food company and the largest private company in the United States, have a massive, massive, massive multi-decade history together. As we covered on last stream, Cargill was cited in a 1983 CIA memo as being one of the 4 suggested conduits for CIA covert action for transactions that require discretion. Because Cargill had this CIA-linked Tradex firm during the Cold War. Cargill was also used for the CIA's wheat deal with Russia in 1972 that required the CIA covert action for the food. And as food programs are one of the top covers for arms programs, Cargill plays a significant role. Where is Cargill based? Minneapolis, Minnesota, the very site of the Somali CIA relocation, as we'll discuss as we get deeper into this, of the refugees of the 1991 Somali Civil War, when the CIA-backed military regime in Somalia fell, and we had to excavate, we had to evac out tens of thousands of Somalis, the same way we evac them out of Cuba. I'll pause. We'll return to this MrBeast thing in a second. why is Miami 30% Cuban? Is it because Democrats just wanted to import tons of Cubans to swing the vote? Is it because Republican businesses just wanted cheap labor? Or was it because the CIA and the Pentagon were running a massive covert action campaign to get rid of Castro? And so we capacity built a government in exile with a huge diaspora community to capacity build for operations against the communist Cuban regime. The third way. We'll get to that. But why? Returning to MrBeast. Let's now get to our article. The Rockefeller Foundation partners with MrBeast to target youth with next-gen propaganda. This is from Zero Hedge. The world's most internationally recognized content creator, Jimmy, MrBeast. The Rockefeller Foundation. You know, there's a great, man, I remember this like a decade ago. You guys ever see James Corbett's How Big Oil series? James Corbett, How Big Oil Conquered the World. This is a good backgrounder if you're new to the space. Yeah, a decade ago. On the origins of the Rockefeller Foundation. Obviously, just like as we talked about, I think last stream, right? And I think the past 2 or 3 streams, we went over the Ford Foundation and the CIA. And now the Ford Foundation at one point held 90% of the non-voting shares of the Ford Motor Company. And how this is how you get to be a big business. Just like you have the Soros Management Fund, and the Open Society Foundation is the foundation arm of the hedge fund. Every major corporation is a foundation which serves to nudge markets and nudge governments to take the actions that would maximize the business of the for-profit company. You guys remember our graph there, right? Yeah. You guys remember this? So you had, for example, for the Soros Management Fund, you have a market. Soros Management Fund will invest in portfolio companies. The portfolio companies make money from a market or lose money from a market. And so what the Soros Management Fund does is it creates the Open Society Foundation, which then sponsors all these different nudge elements to nudge the market to invest in the companies invested in by the Soros Management Fund. Equals profit. And sometimes, instead of directly having those nudge elements directly propagandize people to buy a product or service, they will nudge a target government to take actions that swings the market towards the investments of the management fund. For example, if the Soros Management Fund wants to, if the Soros Management Fund is investing in green, renewable energy alternatives to fossil fuels, something that, because renewables can't compete at present time with fossil fuels on things like price, or need substantial infrastructure investments to get up and running, what the Soros Management Fund will do is it will have the Open Society Foundation put all these nudge elements on a target government, so that the target government passes quotas or mandates or subsidies that force the market to buy from the firms owned by the Soros Management Fund. So and you see this, for example, in the public health space. Bill Gates, for example, He's got Microsoft, and he's got a bunch of investments in vaccine companies. He's got the Gates Foundation to nudge the market directly. Vaccines are good. Vaccines are safe and effective. But most importantly, to nudge target governments to do things like vaccine mandates, to spend hundreds of billions of dollars of USAID money and NIH money and HHS money and CDC money and NIAID money to create the products for free for the portfolio companies like Pfizer and J&J, owned by Bill Gates outside of his foundation. But the foundation is nudging the government to make the market. So too it is with the Rockefeller Foundation, which was an outgrowth of the Rockefeller family business in the same way that the Ford Foundation was an outgrowth of the Ford family business, the same way that the Carnegie Foundation was an outgrowth of the Carnegie business. All these are international businesses. For Rockefeller, it's big oil. For Carnegie, it's big steel. For Ford, it was big motors. It was big car at the dawn of the car age. And then all these portfolios diversified over time into a glut of other multinational businesses, just like we saw with the Kraft family foods branching into petroleum. And then, commissioning the Venezuela regime change attempt in 2019. Now, the Rockefeller Foundation has a very deep history with the CIA. I mean, we've gone over some of these in the past. For example, as early as 1951, we went over how the CIA went to request foundation support to fund research programs that the CIA could take advantage of. So let me just look this up real quick. Foundation support for research. CIA, 1951. And if you remember, I'm sorry, it was a different 1950. Yeah, I guess this one. And we saw that the Rockefeller Foundation was already in 1950. I see this on screen here. Was already, when it was reaching out to foundations to get them to fund universities to do the kind of research that the CIA needed for intelligence purposes. This was 1951. We saw the Rockefeller Foundation had been funding these programs for the CIA as early as 1950. CIA only came into existence in 1947. Rockefeller. And what is the Rockefeller Foundation doing today? Let's go to the Atlantic Council. Donor roll. Oh, okay. Let's look at the 2024 here. $1 million plus. These are the top. This is NATO's covert civil society action arm. Over $1 million annual contributions. So we don't even know what beyond $1 million it is, but it's over $1 million a year. The State Department, the Department of War, the UK government, and the Rockefeller Foundation. Now, as we've covered, there are 7 number one heads of the CIA currently on the board of directors of the Atlantic Council, which was also even named by, let's see, National Endowment for Democracy, Pluralism, I think it was the New York Times for Democracy. Yeah, New York Times, 1986. Damn, I'm good. It would be terrible. This is the founding co-director Carl Gershman, founding co-president of the National Endowment for Democracy, which we will be covering at length later in this, as we seem to always do. Every stream seems to get into the National Endowment for Democracy. It would be terrible for Democrat groups around the world to be seen as subsidized by the CIA. We saw that in the 60s, and that's why it's been discontinued. We have not had the capability of doing this, and that's why the endowment was created. To subsidize the groups that the CIA got in trouble for subsidizing in the 1960s. Before grants are made, all the grants are sent through the State Department to the CIA. We're going to get to this Ned CIA stuff in even deeper detail. I don't want to get too far afield on this, but the point that I was actually building towards here was listed right alongside the National Endowment for Democracy is the Rockefeller Foundation funded Atlanta Council. Alan Weinstein is just one of many operatives who've prepared the way for the political miracles of the past 2 years, taking down the Soviet Union through internal coups in Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, Czechoslovakia. George Soros and the Soros Foundation, the Open Society Foundation, and the Atlanta Council. So even in 1986. So one of the top funders of the Atlanta Council is the hellspawn of John D. Rockefeller and the octopus of Standard Oil, who sponsors the Atlanta Council alongside the Pentagon and the State Department, over $1 million a year to the Atlanta Council. Well, who else is the Rockefeller Foundation sponsoring besides NATO's civil society action arm with 7 CIA directors on their board, annual funding at the Pentagon? Well, turns out they are actually now partnered with MrBeast. And who is the Rockefeller Foundation run by? Who is the one who is giving over $1 million a year to the Atlanta Council? Who is funding the CIA pass-through vehicle? The CIA and NATO pass-through vehicle? Who's running the Rockefeller Foundation? Oh, Google says I originated the term. Oh, wow. An interview hosted by Trump Jr. Okay, interesting. This is the head of the Rockefeller Foundation, one of the top funders of the Atlanta Council, running the foundation arm of John D. Rockefeller. What was he doing? How does one qualify to run the Rockefeller Foundation? And how many? Let's look at the Rockefeller Foundation. Let's do Influence Watch. How many billions in assets do they have? Okay. $4 billion as of 2014. Yes, this was the vehicle for Standard Oil billionaire John D. Rockefeller. Is that true? Is it? Okay, Rockefeller Foundation. Let's see if there are more updated numbers here. $6 billion endowment. Well, how does one run the $6 billion influence fund? 30th largest foundation globally by endowment. Well, let's see. In 2009, Dr. Raj Shah was appointed the head of USAID by Barack Obama. The number one head. He was the Samantha Power of the Obama administration. Before that, he was at the Gates Foundation. So you go from the Gates Foundation to USAID to running the Rockefeller Foundation. So that is who the number one head of USAID. Here's Dr. Raj Shah's Twitter. The head of USAID for Barack Obama, who completely friggin' just like bastardized USAID, which was already a bastard fucking child, bastardized it beyond all belief. The head of it, that asshole, is now partnered. If any of you have kids and you're watching MrBeast videos, get them the fuck out. Proud to announce our partnership with Beast Philanthropy. So, MrBeast, who is now probably a billionaire, what's MrBeast's net worth with these insane friggin' videos? MrBeast net worth. $5 billion valuation of his company. $5 billion, and his net worth is estimated to be $2.6 billion. Let's see, he finally revealed his net worth. Okay. Thanks for making me scroll for it. Where's the money, Lebowski? Okay, the company. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Finally reveals net worth, doesn't say what it is. All right. But he's reported to be worth $2.6 billion now. And for folks who don't know the kind of utter brain rot that this is, this beast shit. Let's just watch some classic MrBeast. Okay. Here's what he posted 12 hours ago. Already has 2.8 million views in 12 hours. Let's watch this brain rot. This is who the Rockefeller Foundation, working with the CIA since 1950, run by Obama's head of USAID. With 500 million YouTube subscribers. Let's see, how do you get worth $2.6 billion? What kind of content do you need to produce to be the king of YouTube? Let's watch a minute of this. Let's see if we can last 1 minute in the brain rot, brain cancer, digitally downloaded onto your cranium via YouTube. Let's just see if can we last 1 minute? MrBeast challenge, Mr. Ben's challenge. Can you last 1 minute watching a MrBeast video? All right, we're at 0. Let's go.
I gathered the biggest Minecraft YouTubers on the planet to simulate.
I'm already out. I'm out. Bounce rate immediately. Holy shit. Something in my brain makes me go, oh, no. It's a trap. Don't like this. I already don't like it. But I know that if there's any part of me that could like this, that I've fucked up as a human being. I've lost the path. If even as a guilty pleasure, I could find some dopaminergic innervation as a result of this. We're 3 seconds in. I've already felt like my brain has been hit by a truck. But we're going to do this, okay? Because you have to understand what the Rockefeller Foundation, the CIA Civil Society Front, it's not really it has its own independent. This is one of these things. I would not call the Rockefeller Foundation a CIA front. It is a partner. It works with the CIA the same way Jeffrey Epstein does. I don't think Jeffrey Epstein worked for the CIA. I think he worked with the CIA when it suited his own interests as well. The CIA needs to do a covert arms sale in Africa, and they need a bunch of co-investors to help capacity build a network or to help build an infrastructure project that they're going to use to redirect funds in the area blah, blah, blah. Hey, friend of the station, who's in network? That's when you make a call to the former USAID director you were just working with in the government at the Rockefeller Foundation, and you make a call to your private financier friends like Jeffrey Epstein. All right, let's see. What are they doing now? What's the Rockefeller Foundation partnering with now? Okay, we're going to do 1 minute. I'm not going to say anything. 1 minute, let's go.
I gathered the biggest Minecraft YouTubers on the planet to simulate Hunger Games and Minecraft, and whoever is the last player standing gets to put whatever they want on a billboard in Times Square. Start the Hunger Games!
Guys, yeah, we need to loot. There's a lot of stuff.
Okay, what's in the middle? There's a chest right here.
Let's go, bro! Come here, guys!
Oh! I will not be the first to... Oh, I'm loaded.
Yo! Let's go!
Yo, Skeppy!
Yeah, I need that.
Oh my god, PvP's already on!
Oh! Fight!
I killed him!
Slaughter each other!
Come here, bro.
Chill!
GG. That's how you do it.
Guys, it's on you!
Run!
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they're just gonna die. Without a doubt.
Oh my god, dude. Let's go! Here we go! Oh, we got a chest! Goblin that. There's so many people.
Let's just keep going. We'll chill out a little bit and try not to get in trouble.
Okay, all right. We made it 1 minute into a 24-minute video. And this is... I'm sure this thing is... Okay. This thing already has 3 million views in just 12 hours. In 12 hours, this thing has 3 million views. Because this is what YouTube is like completely recommend. This is MrBeast Gaming. This isn't even his main channel. This isn't even his main friggin' channel. He's got a second channel with 50 million. That's just for games. His main channel, $60 million views, 70, 80 million views, 117 million views, 131 million views, 50 million views, 100 million views, 173 million views, 130 million views, 130. Everything that he puts up gets 130 views. 80 million views, 130 million views, 192 million views, 213 million views, 150 million views, 154 million views, 121 million views, 194 million views. He averages 150 million views with this brain rot, digital brain cancer. But it's the most popular content on the entire internet. And because of that, MrBeast can influence hearts and minds. And because of that, MrBeast can be morphed, molded, shaped into a finely tuned instrument of statecraft. Everything can be turned into an instrument of statecraft. Are you a coffee company? Are you a shipping company? Are you a radio talk show host? Are you a gardener? Are you a union member? Are you a lawyer? Are you a doctor? No matter what you do, whatever it is that you do, if it's useful, can be molded into an instrument of statecraft. And now MrBeast, it's at the $1 billion club. Now Trump won the 2024 election. The blob is trying to retool its strategy to stop global populism by leading this big Gen Z push. That's the big Democrat playbook now. That's the big transatlantic European playbook, is get Gen Z, get Gen Z. So the time has come. The blob has come for MrBeast. Here's Obama's USAID chief with MrBeast. Let's listen to this.
Foundation. I'm here today. Hi, I'm Rod Shaw, president of the Rockefeller Foundation. I'm here today with Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast. How's it going? And we are together, the Rockefeller Foundation and MrBeast launched.
Have you? Boy, they are really two peas in a pod, aren't they? Well, let me get my snippy. Okay, this, remember that? He's trying to tell you that he's smiling. But is he smiling? It's one your eyes come alive when you smile. I'm thinking a happy thought right now. I'm thinking about that Fleetwood Mac dream right now. Wow, that's so cool. I'm trying to do a MrBeast smile. It's dead. Well, maybe that's a character trait. If you just see the mouth, that's like a smiling mouth. Look, I'm happy. But the eyes, it's incongruent. It's fake. It's a USAID Truman show. It's a USAID creation. All right. Let's see what USAID director under Obama, now running the John D. Rockefeller covert civil society action arm is. Let's see what this partnership's about.
How's it going? And we are together, the Rockefeller Foundation and MrBeast, launching a great new partnership together. Yes, we're going to try to inspire the youth all around the world, change lots of lives. Lots of big projects coming up. We'll tell you more about it in the future, but I'm honored to be working with the Rockefeller Foundation and Let's Change the World. And we're excited to work with Jimmy and his awesome team. They are already helping kids in Africa and around the planet. We're going to take that to the next level together, and we couldn't be more excited.
Ah! Oh, that's right. Because Beast Philanthropies was like building wells, right? Beast Philanthropies in Africa. Oh, shit. They're going to make a play for the critical minerals. Rescuing child slaves in Africa. We saved 100 hearts. Oh, God. USAID trucks. I can just picture them showing up to MrBeast burger shacks. I built 100 wells in Africa.
This is the first of 100 wells we're going to build in this video.
Uh-oh. Let's see how many. What's the view count on this? 255 million views on this.
100 wells we're going to build in this video. Oh, water! Oh, crap! You just witnessed a small village in Kenya get access to unlimited clean drinking water in less than a second. One down!
Ah! Kenya, the heart of operations of the Safari Club. Kenya, where literally the CIA went into full retreat in 1978 after the Halloween massacre when Stansfeld Turner purged the CIA, fired 30% of the operations arm, and the church committee put handcuffs on the CIA. The CIA exiles all went into hiding at the Safari Club in Kenya. That's Kenya, right? The Mount Kenya Safari Club. Who ran it? Oh no, Adnan Khashoggi, the Saudi arms dealer, the world's richest man, according to Time magazine, the intermediary between American and Israeli intelligence for Iran-Contra, and the first big client when Jeffrey Epstein went out onto his own. The covert operations. Of the Safari Club. The Safari Club was a covert alliance of intelligence services formed in 1976 that ran clandestine operations around Africa at a time when the United States had limited the power of the CIA. the exclusive resort in Kenya, run by Saudi arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi, the CIA's point man for all global arms smuggling. Kenya formed the main base of operations for the CIA as it tried to stabilize the CIA-backed military junta in Somalia. It's one of the reasons there's so much statecraft around Kenya, home of Barack Obama. It was our main stronghold in Africa during the turbulent period of the 1960s through the 1980s, at the end of the Cold War, when decolonialism was going on, but we still need to maintain political vassal state control. Now, if you know anything about water politics, why is it that the CIA was backing the Dalai Lama in Tibet? CIA, Dalai Lama. Here is the U.S. State Department, state.gov, the official history of the U.S. State Department, Office of Historian, U.S. government website. Status report on support to the Dalai Lama in Tibetan operations in 1971. 5 years before the Safari Club was formed. This is the 40 Committee, the Intelligence Committee. Summary: CIA Tibetan activities utilizing followers of the Dalai Lama have included, in addition to guerrilla support, a program of political propaganda and intelligence operations. Okay? This is a formal memo from 1971 to the National Security Council's Intelligence Coordination Committee, openly saying CIA Tibetan activities utilizing followers of the Dalai Lama have included, in addition to guerrilla support, a program of political propaganda and intelligence operations. These activities are designed to impair the international influence of Communist China by support of the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan exiles, and maintain the concept of an autonomous Tibet. From its inception, the Tibetan Operations Program has been coordinated with the Department of State. So the CIA and the State Department coordinating, and appropriate U.S. ambassadors, the relevant heads of the embassies. Since 1959, these activities have been approved and reviewed by predecessor bodies of the 40 Committee. Funds program for these Tibetan operations, other than guerrilla resistance support, gradually reduced from $500,000 yearly, that's in 1971 money, 363. Following up earlier U.S. support to his followers in Tibet, upon the Dalai Lama's escape to India in 1959, we instituted a covert subsidy to him and his immediate entourage, and funds and guidance to maintain Tibetan social and political institutions in India and abroad. With Indian asylum and U.S. support, the idea of Tibet as an ethnic and cultural identity, with a widely acknowledged claim to freedom from the CCP, has survived. Now, what was one of the, here we go. In 1959, the special group approved CIA support to the Tibetan resistance movement. In May 59, approved our covert support to the Dalai Lama. Status reports on Tibetan political, psychological, and intelligence operations were reviewed and endorsed by the committee. Now, what is one of the main strategic reasons that the CIA wanted to control Tibet, little old Tibet? What was the population of Tibet in 1960? Why did we spend all this money? There were 1 million people there in 1951 when we started operations. In all of Tibet. There's 8.5 million people just in New York City alone. Well, Tibet, water supply, China, rivers. Well, it is because there are two main river systems in water in China. See if I can get a good image here. Water supply, water, China rivers originating in Tibet. It's the Yellow River and the Yangtze River, right? So if you've ever studied the CIA in Tibet operations, you'll see that because water flows downward gravitationally, and the Tibetan plateau is the where the ice caps melt. It's the highest point. All of the major rivers in China flow from Tibet. So there are 1.4 billion people who completely depend. These are the Yellow and Yangtze rivers, as I mentioned. You see this here? The Yellow River originates in Tibet. The Yangtze River originates in Tibet. Almost all of China's population depends on the Yellow and Yangtze River. Something like 99.9% of China lives either along the coastline of the South China Sea or in the regions surrounding the Yellow and Yangtze River. So if you control the water supply, you control the politics, the power, just because you can shut it off with a dam. And that's why what you'll see, like when I Googled this, like if I just type in water wars, diplomacy, intelligence, water conflicts. So a big part of this is like the geopolitics of dams and the like. Water diplomacy. The water wars are coming. From the Sahel, some foreign policy, to Central Asia. Now, a big part of this is because what's happening right now in Somalia, in Ethiopia, in Eritrea, and Egypt, and in Sudan, water wars, Somalia, Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia. How the Nile water dispute threatens counterterrorism efforts. The war over water. The battle for the Nile. Struggles and geopolitical shifts. Without getting too far afield here, he who controls the water in places like China, vis-a-vis Tibet, in places like Sudan, because the Nile is the life-giving river of Africa. If you've got, for example, MrBeast building a bunch of wells that allow regions to be autonomous of the water politics of a warlord faction in Ethiopia, for example, or Sudan, then you can totally reshape the politics. You might not be able to go too hard on a Russian-backed African warlord faction if they control aspects of the Nile, if they control aspects of the Nile River. They could dam the river or threaten to. If you want to put diplomatic leverage on a particular African country who sits along the river, they can dam the river. They can redirect flows of the river. So I think it's funny when I see the CIA companion star. Maybe that's a good way to think of it. You guys ever seen companion stars? geopolitical shifts and power struggles in the Horn of Africa in the battle for water. A companion star is a star that orbits it. It's a different star. It's not a cutout for that star, but it's always a companion to it. The Rockefeller Foundation is a CI companion star. Let's get a visual here. Just orbits around it. And so Jimmy, Mr. Beast, is already built 100 wells in Africa. He's already, I'm sure, along the way, his Beast philanthropies have made a lot of contacts with indigenous folks on the ground. Probably had to interface with a shit ton of State Department NGOs. Probably had to have, some sort of security force to protect this multi-billionaire as they're doing these philanthropic operations. Already building up a
network. You guys here for the halftime?
A network of assets. I shouldn't say assets. A network of connections. Already built up a brand. There are probably a lot of local governments who are either in debt to Mr. Beast or want Mr. Beast to come back and do their town next.
We'll cover the 400 kids at this school, but literally the entire neighborhood and village around it.
It's also going to shape the agricultural development of Africa. You're going to have Cargill up in this. Let's just see. Does Cargill tell me all of the connective tissue you can find between Cargill and the Rockefeller Foundation? Let me move this up so you guys can see. Sec. All right, we're going to move on in a sec here, but I want to run this. One sec. Okay, I'm just curious to see what we can find. How many times Cargill and the Rockefeller Foundation run into each other on the street? Oh shoot! Yeah. Okay, one sec. All right, let me move this over. Come down right here. Okay, there you go. Let's do that. All right. Just curious. All right, so let's see. Is there anything else to mine in this article before we get to our main topic? Oh, he went to UPenn. Funny. I see you, Raja, and I raise you. Takes one to know one. All right, well, let's get on to the main topic now. But I do have to get some more tea, so let me put a little bit of music on. Should I sentence you guys to a Mr. Beast video while I make the rest of my tea? See, I'm like Tibet right now because I control the screen and what you guys watch when I refill my tea. In a way, I control the waterways. I am the plateau. I'm the Tibetan plateau from which digital content flows downstream. If someone could just impact my heart and mind to not have you watch this Mr. Beast video for the next 1 minute and 30 seconds as I set my tea, then your brains could be spared. But instead, you have to watch more gobbledygook of Mr. Beast involved in what are soon to be CIA adjacent agro warfare and capacity building of African civil society institutions in Africa. I'm the Dalai Lama. I'm the Dalai Lama up in this bitch.
This school can use this well.
We say thank you for the work.
Oh, no problem. This thing can basically pump nonstop for 30 years. You would think that having an effect of this magnitude would require the resources and funding of a large government, but that's not true. Solving this problem is possible and something humanity should all be putting effort in to fix.
What's the secret of success?
To be honest, just find something you love doing and do it for a long period, and eventually you'll succeed. So I'm gonna bring it super close. See us? Is that cool? Yes. If you look up, it's recording. All right, well, I'm gonna get close. All right. Yeah, you can see yourself. We were also able to install a well for this village, and these 12 other villages. And while we were finishing these wells, we were also able to update one of their schools with brand new computers. How are they liking it?
They like them.
Glad to see it turned out well. And we also updated the classrooms with new furniture, installed shelves and filled them with new books, donated a soccer ball for every student, and even put modern whiteboards and projectors in all the classrooms. Do you guys like the projector?
We were using a chalk and then a lot of dust, but today everything is clean. We truly appreciate it.
No problem.
This is really interesting. I'm watching it as my tea is making. I actually do need to run to the bathroom, so it's gonna be another minute. So just give me a minute. I will be right there. But already I'm thinking, wow, they donated a school. They donated a computer to every one of the schools. I wonder what they put on those computers. This is like a common thing with these, the politics of government computers is like a very interesting thing. And all right, I'm gonna leave that there. That's I'm already thinking who is Beast Philanthropies currently partnered with? If they're now partnering with the fucking Rockefeller Foundation, who have they been partnered with? Who do they partner with for this project? Are they Microsoft computers? Huh.
It's the least we could do. But then,
3 people trying to cross this river.
This loss of life is insane and absolute.
What I miss? Anything interesting? I mean, what little I saw of that, all I kept thinking is, look at all those hearts and minds. Look at all those hearts and minds in geopolitically contested territory. Public diplomacy. That's what they call this. I've been, for fun, in my downtime, working on this CIA in the music industry presentation. And for all these CIA music programs, they refer to it as public diplomacy. Instead of suits talking to suits, it's our people talking to their people. But our people are sending them a very specific message.